Hello students, welcome to Agricultural Development Trust Shardabai Pawar, Mahila Arts Commerce Science College Shardanagar Baramati. I am Professor Poonam Mishra, brought for you subject Secretarial Practice, in which we are learning chapter number 3, issue of shares. So students, let's see what we will learn in this chapter, and also we can say the key highlights of the chapter. So let's see students what we will understand from this chapter. First we will see classification of share capital, then we will see how the shares are issued, issue of shares, then how many methods are there for issuing of shares, then what is allotment of shares, what is share certificate, calls on share, what is calls, how it is done, forfeiture, what is forfeiture and what is the process of it, surrender of shares, what is surrender of shares, transfer of shares and transmission of shares. So near about 10 concepts of secretarial practice we will learn in this chapter, students, and this chapter carries high weightage of marks for the board examination. So students, let's start with the first concept of this chapter, that is classification of share capital. Before moving on the classification of share capital, I would like to remind you the meaning of share capital. So students, what is the meaning of share capital? Let's see. Share capital refers to the proportion of equity shares and preference shares, or in other words we can say it is a capital which is raised by issue of share. So it means whatever the amount is collected by the company by the issue of equity shares and preference shares, that amount will be known as a share capital. Now student, in classification of share capital they have categorized in a various way. So first you should understand what is classification, means division. Now you know what is share capital. It is a money or the fund collected by the company by issuing the equity shares or preference shares. Basically the proportion of equity shares is always higher than the preference shares, because company prefers to issue the equity shares more, because it is a safe for the company and it is beneficial for the company. Now student, this share capital is divided into various types on the basis of situation. Yes, it's a situation. You can see what is given on the top. On the top it is written authorized capital. So students, do you know what is authorized? Authorized means permitted. Nominal means written. Registered, you know, which is registered in the record. So students, authorized capital is also known as a nominal capital and registered capital, for which we can take this example. What the example says: suppose company's name is Poonam Private Limited, and the Poonam Private Limited, actually Private Limited cannot issue the shares, we should take some government company. So suppose Indian Oil Limited, okay, Indian Oil Limited has issued 1 lakh equity shares of ₹10 each. So this is the 1 lakh number which is permitted by the registrar of company to Indian Oil Limited to issue as a equity share in the market to the public, and say the face value of this share is 10 rupees. So what will be the authorized capital of Indian Oil Limited? It will be 10 lakh rupees. So out of this 1 lakh equity share or 10 lakh equity share, this is the share and this is student share capital. The actual amount is known as a share capital and the number of share is known as a shares. So 1 lakh equity shares of ₹10 each means how much equity share capital? 10 lakh equity share capital. So out of this 1 lakh equity shares, suppose Indian Oil Limited is issuing only 40,000. Okay students, so out of 1 lakh equity, 40,000 is being issued by the Indian Oil Limited. They are keeping safe 60,000 equity shares for the future use. If in future when they want to expand their business, they want to do some research and development, at that time the remaining 60,000 they can issue. So student, we can say that the authorized capital is the maximum capital beyond which a company cannot issue any number of shares. So out of the authorized capital, the part which is offered to the public is known as a issued capital. Say for example 40,000 equity shares is being issued of rupees 10 each. So 4 lakhs of equity share capital is being issued. So if out of 10 lakh 4 lakh is being issued capital, so how much will be the unissued capital? 6 lakh students. So how we will get the 6 lakh? 60,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each. So it is unissued capital is a part of the authorized capital. Means these two capital, issued and unissued capital, is the part of the authorized capital. Issued and unissued capital cannot exceed or cannot be more than the authorized capital. Now student, look at the blue arrow. The further types are the part of issued capital in which unissued capital is not included. So these two types are the part of issued capital. Okay, so for example, company has issued 40,000 out of 1 lakh. So out of 40,000 only can be the subscribed and unsubscribed capital. Say for example, what do you mean by subscribe? Subscribe means purchased by the public. Even though the company has issued 40,000 shares, but it's not compulsorily that all the share will be sold in the market. So out of 40,000, how much share is being bought by the public, how much share is being purchased by the public, that will be known as a subscribed capital. So out of 40,000, if 30,000 equity share is purchased by the people in the market, so it is known as a subscribed or purchased capital, student. So it is a SP language, you have to write only subscribed capital. You cannot use this word purchased capital. So this is the subscribed capital, which is the part of issued capital. Out of 40, 30 is being purchased by the public and 10,000 is not purchased by the public. So it is known as a unsubscribed capital, which is being not purchased by the public from the market. So 10,000 of 10 rupees means 1 lakh. 1 lakh and 3 lakhs. So you can see out of 4 lakh, 3 lakh is being subscribed by the people and 1 lakh is not subscribed by the people. Either you go by the amount or you go by the number of equity shares. You will understand this example, student. So this is the part of issued capital. Again you see the further arrow, students. Now these are the types. These are the 3 types which is from the subscribed capital only, students. So these are the 3 parts which is from the subscribed capital. For example, only the 30,000 shares is being purchased by the public or 3 lakh share capital is collected by the company. So out of 30,000, say for example, called up capital. So company has a choice with them. How much share, how much amount they are calling from the public, they are demanding from the public. So out of 30,000, for example, called up capital on 30,000, if the face value of the 30,000 is rupees 10, so company has a choice. Either they can ask 30,000 equity shares of rupees 10 at a one time, or they can divide it into the steps. So say for example the 30,000 equity share subscribers are there. So the company is not taking 10 rupees from them, they are just taking 5 rupees from them for each. So as of now, out of 3 lakhs, company wants to collect only 1,50,000. So how much amount is pending on the 30,000 equity share, students? The remaining 5 rupees is pending. So this is known as a uncalled up. Called up capital means which is demanded by the company. Uncalled up capital means the amount which is not demanded by the company. And reserve capital is the safe capital on which the company makes never any demand. It is just a reserve with the company for the future need. So for example, out of the 30,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each, so to the 30,000 subscriber of equity share, company is demanding only 5 rupees. So and 4 rupees they are keeping as a uncalled up capital, and 1 rupees they are keeping as a reserve capital, which will be used in a future when the need will arise, or some emergency will happen in the company. At that time, this 1 rupees will be demanded by the company from these 30,000 equity shares subscribers. Now further blue arrow you can see the further two types are the part of called up capital, students. So paid up capital and calls in arrear. Paid up means which is paid by the public, calls in arrear which is not paid by the public. For example, company has demanded only 5 rupees to the 30,000 equity shares subscribers, but out of that only 20,000 equity shares subscriber has paid rupees 5. So how much company has collected? 1 lakh. So student, if you remember the number and rate, you can calculate this amount. So no need to by heart this rupees figure, you just by heart the numbers and the rate. This will be easier for you. So student, as of now you can see the paid up capital means the company is calling 5 rupees from each subscriber, means 30,000 subscriber, but only 20,000 has paid the amount. So this is known as a paid up capital. And what out of 30,000, 10,000 has not paid rupees 5. So the 50,000 is uncalled up money, or we can unpaid up money, or we can say call in arrear. So another name for it is known as a unpaid up, means that is the paid up capital. So it will be unpaid up capital. Okay students, so this is unpaid capital or calls in arrear. So this is the flow chart of the share capital, students. It is very easy. Please remember this example. So while writing the theory notes, you can use this example, and it will give you the full marks in writing the answer. So students, let's see the theory part of it. So first one is authorized or nominal or registered capital, which means authorized capital is the maximum authorized amount by the memorandum of association that a company can raise by issue of shares. It is also called as a registered or nominal capital, as it is mentioned in the capital clause of the memorandum of association. So students, you have already understood what is capital clause, what is memorandum of association. So including those words, the explanation is being created. So authorized capital is a permitted capital by the registrar of company, and which is mentioned in the memorandum of association of company. And where it is mentioned in the memorandum of association, it is mentioned in the capital clause of the company. So students, as you have seen the example that the company never issue the entire authorized capital, they keep some capital pending for the future use. Next is issued capital. So what is issued capital? Out of the authorized capital, whatever the share is being issued by the company to the general public for the subscription of a buying is known as a issued capital. Issued capital is that part of authorized capital which is offered by the company to the prospective investor. What do you mean by prospective investor? Means future investor who wants to invest into the company. So issued capital is that part of authorized capital which is offered by the company to the prospective investor for subscription. Thus, it is the share that a company is offering to the public to buy, to purchase. So the actual number which is offered by the company out of the authorized capital to general public for buying from the market is known as a issued capital. So now student, third is unissued capital, which is also the part of authorized capital, which is the balance part of, balance means remaining part of authorized capital which is not offered to the public to buy or subscribe. It is called as a unissued capital. In the future, company can issue such unissued capital when the need arises and when the requirement arises in the future. So further part of this question we will continue in the next video. Thank you.